In the summer of 1999, Vladimir Vasilyev brought the first group of his students and friends to Russia. These courageous Canadians, Americans, and Europeans came to Moscow to meet and train with the most remarkable man, Mihhail Rябko, the teacher of Vladimir Vasilyev and a true master of fighting. Mikhail met us at the airport and took us directly to his gym for the first of his unforgettable classes. Mikhail is now instructing his students to work individually with each one of us to help and to get to know everyone in the process, to avoid injuries and have a good time. This training class that Mikhail took us to is set up for his friends and some of his colleagues. Training for the special units is held at a different facility in a completely different setting. The foreign group that went to Russia in the following summer of the year 2000 had an opportunity to visit these SPETS facilities and go through the obstacle course. Even in this mostly civilian class, we were amazed to see how well Mikhail's students move and how effective their work and explanations were. We asked Mikhail to show us some basic movements, and he's starting with what he calls a basic demonstration with one of his students. Alex is the first brave volunteer from our group who wants to feel the moves on his body. Every person who ever watched Mikhail on video or live had doubts on how these moves would work on himself, especially the psychic energy component of his work. We all observed how our friend Alex, who has extensive martial arts background and knows how to fight, was flying around and falling, getting up, falling down, and laughing. People were even more intrigued then. Next, Randy wanted to experience this. Mikhail immediately pointed out Randy's tension at the hips. And now Mikhail's work was directed towards relaxing the hips and other tense and restricted areas. Randy is one of the most powerful men in Canada. Without any anabolic drugs, he was bench pressing 550 pounds. He weighs well over 200 pounds. This strong back manipulation up in the air was really amazing. So quick and effortless, just part of the regular work for Mikhail. Tension is the main cause of injuries. By pushing on the tense areas of the body in different positions, Mikhail was loosening up the restrictions and releasing the tension. Mikhail was explaining that he was working very carefully, only according to what the student is ready to handle. Randy is a very thorough man and does not take things for granted. It was especially convincing to see him go through this work.
We're with you, Randy.
Training sessions with Mikhail contain three components: demonstrations, practice, and discussions. There are several fairly long demonstrations in classes. The goal is to let a student choose the moves that he likes, the moves that match his own nature. Mikhail does not impose a fixed technique or a movement pattern. You pick out what you can and then it becomes your own natural movement. Then you practice it, but not in order to memorize, but to understand it further. In a real confrontations, these will be the moves that you will apply, your own invincible weapon that no one can take away from you. When the physical practice begins, Mihail works individually with each student. He makes the student change and benefit physically by relaxing him and going through the new moves. His personal contact makes the student experience the new, more powerful states of mind and energy.
Just tossing. I knew for a fact that he was holding back to keep from hurting me. This guy would have severely hurt me if I'd have been any more aggressive than I was. Thanks very much.
The next part of training session was working individually with Michael's students. Sergei is one of the top students and a colleague of Mikhail, a famous operative of many special military operations, responsible for several highest-risk successful missions. He is now working with our tall and fit friend David from Florida. Here is a good example of nonverbal communication where movements and facial expressions relay the messages. With a series of manipulations, Sergei is working towards the same goal as Mikhail, trying to relax the partner. He's stretching the muscles, shaking up, twisting, and applying pressure to let David feel where the freedom of movement is lacking and how to achieve it. He is sharing his own image of being soft and relaxed, and gradually making David feel that way too. From the first moments of training, when we saw the people going down on the floor, we were wondering if mats are ever used in the Russian system. It is more recommended to work on the bare ground. This, on one hand, is the way the real confrontations take place. And on the other hand, falling on the floor really makes you relax. You quickly learn how to keep your body fluid and smooth. Moreover, hitting the floor in a way is like taking a punch on a body. When you learn to fall easily on a hard surface, you're also able to adapt to strikes and to reduce your fear of strikes. Here's our Simon from Colorado receiving his share of floor contact. Mihail has a fairly high rank in the Spets units. He is currently active, so we have only a general description of his work. Mihail is a tactical commander of a Spets division involved in counter-terrorist operations and armed criminal neutralization, a commander of hostage rescue teams, and an author of a textbook on tactics of special operations. The Russian system for Mikhail was the way of life. He was personally trained since childhood by one of the remaining Stalin's personal bodyguards. Mikhail was sent on spets assignments at the age of 15. Ever since, he has been continuously involved with the highest risk military and civil missions. He has also been training the Spetsnaz Rapid Reaction Force and the top government Spets divisions. Just recently, Mikhail has returned from war. As many other professionals in his line of work, he does not like to talk about it or about himself. His incredible skill in the martial art and in every other aspect of life speaks for itself. Here is John's turn to experience the hands-on training. Mikhail is explaining that there is tension in John's hips. John says that this is the result of over 200 parachute jumps during his airborne service in the US Army. Mikhail continues that tension makes the legs less mobile, while relaxing the hips and keeping the legs slightly bent minimize the chances of breaking them. Here is Mikhail's demonstration of how easy it is to throw a person off balance. You just have to know where to apply pressure. You should work softly with the partner. Do not use force, just make him understand. The explanation here is as soon as one freezes a position, he loses the movement. Once the continuity is lost, the person becomes vulnerable.
I'm a competitive wrestling coach for almost 30 years, and I'm used to working body dynamics. I'm used to people's motion and how to work against it. And with this guy isn't using any force at all. It's as though he anticipates every move that you have to do and attacks your structure and support for it before you have a chance to really utilize it. It eliminates anything you can do. The best thing you can do is stay loose, keep your hips, maintain a little body position, but in a few seconds he's got you anyway. There's just nothing you can do.
You now see a short demonstration of work using energy with one of Mikhail's students. We will try to have Mikhail explain this in the future films. The question asked here is, why does the student scream during this work? Mikhail's answer is, this is a fairly advanced student and he realizes the danger behind the movements very quickly. And the way his body expresses the fear is by screaming. You will now see a literally breathtaking lesson on punches and how to take them onto the body. Every man in our group gladly volunteered to go through this tough experience. Not just to feel the strikes and a way to handle them, but also to feel how Mikhail removes the pain and restores balance at the end of each session of strikes. The training here is to deal with the strike by exhaling and flexing the front and back muscles of the body. This way, you do not let the strike penetrate and do damage, and it teaches you to overcome the fear of contact.
Doesn't have fists, he have hammers instead of fists. So when he hits, I feel it on my coccyx.
Now see a demonstration of short punches. These strikes magically made Jerome speak Russian.
Look at that, if you learned Russian, just being hit.
That hurts.
The best way I can describe that strike is exactly what it would feel like if you had a Kevlar vest on and got shot with a 45.
One of the starting exercises for psychic energy is called heavy hands. The weight of the hands here is not physical. The energy that fills the hands and then the partner makes him go down. Importance of keeping the spine straight. He constantly teaches the body to relax and yet maintain the alignment. Even a small deviation from the straight line puts you off balance and enables the opponent to control you. No matter whether you're standing, falling, or in any other position, the goal is to keep the form of a straight spine.
Такое положение, чтобы ломаю как бы позвоночник. И потом уже,
Ну а что там было?
ну я вывел, то есть он держит спину, видишь, ровно. Я его туда наклонил, видишь, спина, вот, это самое. Ну как бы она ломается. Конструкция человека, понимаешь?
The construction of the back is broken.
И как бы ничего больше не знаю.
And that's all you know.
Все просто.
Просто, не, ну вот и...
Движение другого человека.
Psychologically, every person estimates the movements of the other.
Well, he somehow he disbalance my body at all. And then after the very first movement, he controls it all the time. So he's shifting my center of gravity is never where I want it to be. he controls my center.
Тяжести постоянно его передвигаешь, и
Да.
он не может равновесие.
And it seems,
So, see, the push was really very light, so why did you fall?
why? I had to. No, it seems that I'm,
По-другому.
no, it seems very camera guy. It's, it seems that I'm pretending, you know, like I'm going up, it's not the case at all. You know?
Кажется, что он притворяется даже.
And that's it. And
Вот здесь.
make love to them.
To do this, we should know very good the body structure.
Yes.
To manipulate.
I will look at this.
Надо структуру тела им хорошо знать.
Да. И чувствовать напряжение,
And
понимаешь?
you gotta feel where his tension is.
Oh, come on.
Alex, come on.
Don't give up. Try a little.
I tried.
Look at him.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, see if you can identify what's going on.
Да,
You can't
я
get
буду...
that.
А потом ты спросишь его, как бы... Что он чувствует. Вот. Вау. То есть видишь, человек сколько может выдержать?
See how much
Если-
pressure a person can take
Позвоночник ровный.
if the back is straight.
Да? А если не ровный?
And if it's crooked,
Позвоночник на него давить, да?
so if the back is straight and you're getting pressure on
Видишь,
it,
он стоит.
then he can just
Если
stand.
чуть-чуть, значит, вот.
But once it's off the alignment, then it's really easy.
Да.
Jerome lives and works in Paris, France. He has studied and taught martial arts for years, and now he's experiencing a new world in the hands of the master.
Ты чувствуешь, где у него напряжено,
Ну
когда
да.
и стукаешь. He feels where you're tense, and that's where you get.
Yeah, I'm giving him support.
So as soon as he makes contact, you give him support, and then he uses that. Is that?
He takes away.
That makes sense. What is one?
Шея болела.
And has a sore neck.
Руки.
Lower your arm.
He knows the human body so well. He's playing on the structure. And it's so easy to him. He's seeing tense areas. And he's playing with the structure and the balance.
Да, понятно все.
What's the spine? Is it clear?
Ну, что когда он ровный, да, позвоночник, вот я на него давил, он держит. Чуть-чуть голову, раз, и все. И он
So when the spine is straight, no matter how much you push, the Jerome could keep the
But-
balance. As soon as the spine is twisted, you lose it.
они.
Hi, Mom.
Здравствуй, мама.
То есть это для ног. Сейчас для позвоночника и для ног.
Okay, this exercise for spine and for legs too. It's exactly this exercise. Remember you asked me some exercise?
Yes.
That's
So pushing down on the body.
pushing down, yeah.
Смотри, как спина отдельно.
Now you can see how the back moves completely separately from the hips or lower back. Yeah.
Oh, my legs up.
Here is another demonstration of work against kicks and strikes. Mikhail's goal again is to relax the partner by contacting the tense areas in his body.
Let your legs go.
Relax, relax.
Let your legs go.
Whoa.
Спасибо.
We are now 71 kilometers north of Moscow in the Troitse-Sergeyeva Lavra.
After working with Michael, him moving me around, I feel that my body was tight, and he's telling me how I should move to make it softer. So it's good. So I think I'll just have to try and keep the mobility going. From his advice.
What have you feeling?
Very impressed with his knowledge of someone else's body. I think he's very great skill at reading a person's body movements and internal structure.
David wanted to see some knife defense. The particular feature about Mikhail's training method is to teach by showing the whole picture. He breaks movements down into components only when he works with someone individually. This way, he can point out what that particular person needs and answer his specific questions. We also had some Russian doctors and healers treat and revive any of us that wanted to try it.
No, because that's easy. That I can do his stuff. I can do more.
We are now in Denver, Colorado, at an amazing seminar. It begins with the words of welcome from the host and organizer, Mr. John Giddick. People from 12 different states and 5 different countries have come here, beginners and skilled practitioners, martial arts instructors, police officers, and other action professionals. This is the inaugural event in the World Federation of Russian Martial Arts. All three of the founding directors of the Federation, three great Russian masters, are here to share their knowledge and friendship. Mikhail Rябко, arriving from Moscow, Russia, Vladimir Vasilyev, arriving from Toronto, Canada, and Oleg Takhtarov from Los Angeles, California. So first of all, the way the system works, it's all the reflexes of people are involved. Okay, and Michael will demonstrate that. So all your natural reactions are being used. Okay. Okay. There is one reflex we have from childhood is the gripping reflex, the grabbing. So we're going to use that when a person is coming at you. Okay. Your goal, if he's trying to grab you, let him have your arm. And right away he's in a very uncomfortable position. And then you can work with him. Go on.
Есть такой хватательный рефлекс. А из него уже потом выходит.
So you're using his grabbing reflex and to your advantage.
Никаких сложностей и романтики в этом нет.
There is nothing complicated or magic about this.
Поэтому оно как бы смотрится немножко непонятно, да?
And in the beginning it looks unclear.
То есть можно и чтобы они потом попробовали сами.
And
Сейчас.
try it with a partner.
Да, по партнерам. Раз. Значит, вот когда рефлекс вот такой, да?
So here's the grabbing reflex.
У человека сразу человек напрягся, да?
Okay.
Есть напряжение.
Here's the next reflex, tensing up as well. So your opponent
То есть это
gets,
второй рефлекс. О, видишь?
he resists and he tenses up, and you're using that too.
То есть нужно это правильно использовать.
You got to use it in the right way.
Попробуйте все, но не торопитесь.
Try that, but don't rush.
А?
Еще раз покажи. Yeah, demonstrate again.
Видишь?
He's tense.
Yeah? О,
That's good.
попробуйте теперь, по два. Окей, try.
Okay, try it.
У меня руки, да? Как бы слабые места.
Look for weak parts of the body. He was just explaining earlier.
Надо не на силу бороться, а как бы по движению и искать вот эти вот места такие, куда нажал, и человек упал.
Yeah, don't try to overpower, right? Like if the top part of the body is tense, that means the bottom is vulnerable. So go there. Yeah.
All right, thank you. У нас еще время-то много. Понимаешь, то, что они...
Try to use less power. Don't try to overpower the opponent, right? It's more movement. Use the movement.
Чтобы как можно меньше силы, как бы...
So as little force as possible, yeah.
Понятно?
That's good.
Ну, ничего.
The
principle is correct, but using way too much force.
Okay. То есть вы очень устаете тогда.
You get tired out a lot. You both get tired because you're using so much force, right?
Пускай возьмутся, да.
Okay, grab.
И вот, ты не напрягайся.
Don't be tense.
А потихонечку ручку.
Just calmly bring your arm
И
over.
второй, допустим, на это
Help
нажал.
with this one.
Или туда. Не. Или вот так. Да?
You go ahead.
Show us the same thing. with the two
То же
guys.
самое хотят посмотреть. Grab.
Или вот на это. Следующие принципы, это вот на испуге.
Okay. The next principle we're going to use, the instinctive reaction, is fear. Startle reflex. Startle reflex, yeah. That's it. Объясни, что ты сделал-то, объясни.
Ну как, вы видели же все. Пускай пробует, а мы ко всем
You
потом-
saw everything, so just go ahead and try it. And then Michael will come around.
It felt like somebody kept shutting on and off the lights, and there was Michael every time it came on. And I didn't have any control. And the last thing was really impressive because every time I kind of blinked, his face was right in mine, and all I could do was move backwards till I fell on my back. So it was very impressive. Thank you. When a person is loading up to throw a punch, you know, is there just practice to coordinate to get to that point?
То есть вот you're stopping him from delivering the strike. Yeah.
Okay, but how do you detect that? If I'm standing like I'm going to punch.
А как узнать, что он удар сейчас нанесет?
Ну, сделает, пускай на всякий случай. Все равно же видно, как бы,
You
по
could
человеку,
tell.
да, что он будет делать.
So if I'm going to see you've already read.
You could tell right away.
He has no fear. He has no fear though.
У тебя страха нет.
So he has
У
the
меня только
confidence.
страх, чтобы кого-то не повредить, не покалечить.
He only has the fear not to injure someone. He's afraid to injure.
Good point.
Yeah.
So in the absence of fear, then he can move freely.
То есть, когда страха нет, то ты свободно движешься, да?
Is there a correlation between the direction of the hand moved this way and to where the punch is supposed to be? In other words, he goes this way and moves here because the punch goes that way. You understand?
То есть, it doesn't have to be related with the strikes.
It's just that
Doesn't.
movement.
It's
Okay.
kind of distracting moves.
Distracted
when the
movement.
person's going to move.
Допустим, как бы сказать, что нужно человеку, понимаешь? Вот, допустим, где большое скопление людей, да, и на тебя толпа идет, да, ты как будешь?
So if, okay, it depends what you need. If there's a crowd of people you have to get through,
Ты же не будешь их там бить всех,
you're
правильно?
not gonna hit them, so you would distract them that way. Yeah.
Просто убрал.
Just just move them away.
Part the Red Sea, right?
To control, points to control.
Ну, он же как массажист.
You know all these points, right?
То есть он может работать вообще очень, это самое, хорошо.
You can work really well because of that.
Get control.
That's right.
It's sticky. Don't break it. Yeah. You got to control this side, but you can't control this side. Okay, because you can okay. Feels good in there, right?
As a professional therapist, I've noticed that the way Misha uses the pressure points are they're very healing points. They're used in particular combination. However, the way he's using them are in a cycle where he can actually drain energy from one, put too much energy in the other, and whenever he's using them according to different areas of the body and the further away, I notice that my body begins to get weaker and I'll go down if that's what his design is, or backwards, and he can raise you up according to the direction of his energy, the way he's pushing it. And I can feel myself that the energy remains in the body for a little while. I can feel it in particular organs, and there's little electrical shocks I see. It manipulates each of those points.
Look good.
Did you really ask for practice, or you just? Oh, you.
Нет удара, вышел?
Did the strike leave your body now? Yeah. Okay. How's it going?
I got him to make sure the back one.
Yeah. Yeah, exhale in a more quick way, like more forceful exhale.
Nothing that you do that Michael doesn't anticipate. The part about with the striking and the breathing, exhaling faster, it definitely makes a difference when you exhale fast like he suggests, rather than just breathing normal and thinking about it so much. The punch, the effects of the punch do leave you much quicker that way. And working with Michael in the exercise, you can't describe it until you're there. It makes you know how much further you have to go before you can even think about being any good at this. But just feeling it is, you know, that 2 or 3 minutes is worth hours of training. So I very much appreciate that. Thank you.
So exhale in a forceful kind of a way, quick, forceful, and don't bend your back. Keep it straight.
Чем резче удар, тем резче выдох.
The sharper is the strike, the sharper is the exhale. Got it. Keep the back straight. And don't take the stomach away. Just tight. А что это в конце делаешь? Может, ты объяснишь вот это?
Ну, я просто убираю удар, который остается там у него. Я просто
Okay. You know, like at the end when if Michael has delivered enough strikes, he removes the extra, как энергию, что ли, силу, боли.
Ну, как хочешь назови.
Yeah. The extra force that's still left in the body, he removes it, and the person feels better, right? Okay. А как ты это делаешь?
Ну, вы же видите.
You saw it. Okay. And there's also a general rule that you don't bend the arm, keep it straight. Like in the wrist, it's straight.
Просто поднять руку и опустить.
So just raise the arm and lower it down.
Mikhail was surprised himself to see so many Americans wanting to experience the strikes. Throughout the seminar, people were literally lining up to have their turn of Mikhail's punches. It is hard to believe, but beyond pain, these strikes charge with positive energy, add power and life to the body. In this knife demonstration, you see again how no attacks or patterns are ever pre-arranged. The most unique quality of Mikhail's work is his understanding of movement. He just knows how the opponent is going to attack him, and he moves together with him, practically anticipating his every move. He shows that starting position is not important, and that there is no dependency on the knife at all. It is common for people to get stuck on watching and following the attacker's knife, and this inhibits the movement. Mikhail explained that having a knife is the obvious advantage over the bare hand, and any limitation in your movement makes you that much more vulnerable.
Okay, so you'd like you to work in pairs, just feel the knife на теле, да? Yeah, feel the knife on your body. So one person stabbing and the other one moving away from the line of attack. Okay. What did you feel?
Well, I've worked with different cultural knife fighting systems since 1977. And some of the techniques are very similar to the Russian style, but they put it together with a kind of energy flow that's more flexible than anything I've ever felt. And also there are many variations of body dynamics and movements, which again I've never encountered. So it's very interesting, very fascinating, and it's very high level. And that's from someone who's worked with Filipino instructors, Chinese instructors, Indonesian instructors for about 23 years now. Any questions?
Every seminar participant who expressed a desire to work with Mikhail individually had a turn at that. People could choose any method of attacking, use any style of martial art, select any weapon or position. Only a portion of these sparring sessions made it into this film.
Завтра воскресенье.
So when you hit any harder in the field, just really short, a little bit harder. What he's doing is still.
The method of teaching of Mihhail Rябко is very different from most of the conventional schools. His main goal is to teach people to see. When a class is watching, there are few explanations or breaking the techniques down into components. And the amazing fact is that people do learn how to move just from observing. The demonstrations are always exciting and captivating. And later, when Mihhail works with people individually, he takes it to the next level and helps the students to make the moves that they picked out permanently their own.
That's great.
I was trying everything I knew how to do, but it really didn't make any difference. I was always in some awkward position, no matter how I tried to come out of it. Just the amount of that he could anticipate what I was doing was just amazing to me, and also the amount of energy that he had and everything that he did. Just one hand, just it's unbelievable, really.
This guy's really perfect. A lot of times, the right there is something that's just perfect enough to not throw you down.
When I was working with Michael, I felt totally out of control of my body. His subtle movements are just totally controlling me, and just I feel like I'm just being tossed around. I have no control. It's like I throw an attack, and I feel like the more if I amped it, he would just toss me even harder. And so I just wanted to take it nice and slow, but it was an incredible experience. I was very impressed.
Something else extraordinary happened both during our training in Russia and at the Denver seminar weekend. The word got out that Mihhail can give a precise and inspiring advice on any life situation. And in between training, people were lining up to ask Mihhail's opinion on many personal dilemmas. Some came with lists of questions. The surprising thing was that Mihhail knew the exact answer to the question before the situation was even described to him, or he saw the real question behind the one asked, and he even answered the questions before the person had a chance to read them off the list. We asked Mikhail how can he possibly do that. Simple, he said, just be calm and do not expect anything from others, and then you will be able to see things as they are.
Oh my God.
It was interesting working with Michael. I watched several tapes of him, and he just knows where your body wants to go, and he helps you along in that direction. It's a lot of fun. What else to say? I enjoyed it a lot.
Here is a brief demonstration of working with a sword. We now see Mikhail demonstrating how to step and move around the partner and the proper footwork. Many people were amazed to see such a heavy-set man moving with such lightness and agility. We have all heard that doing the right things makes you feel happy. Mikhail makes us see how directly it applies to training. When you move in the right way, it brings happiness into your body, a sense of freedom and completeness. Anyone who ever tried to spar with Mikhail felt absolutely helpless, but never upset or hurt. With all his outstanding skill and experience, Mikhail never calls himself a master or puts himself above anyone. He never tries to make an impression on his partner or on the audience. It doesn't matter to him who is better. He's only sharing and enjoying the work.
what Michael would like you to do is get in close, as tight a crowd as possible. This is an exercise to feel your body and to practice self-defense as much as possible. Okay, and try to, like, you're in a tight crowd, and try to separate as much as possible. But in the meantime, deliver strikes and kicks and all the things that you've practiced so far, and defend yourself. So try to get out of that crowd, okay? And as soon as you're spread out, then go back into the crowd.
Okay, come closer, guys. We will fight.
Fighting in a crowd is a Russian training tradition. One of the hardest scenarios is what we see here, each one fighting for himself. It really is a unique, incredible, and exciting experience of strikes, punches, and pushes coming from every direction. It forces you to look at your movements in a different way, quickly eliminates useless movements, and makes you realize the need to move constantly. It clears your mind and strengthens your spirit.
Thank you, guys.
Many participants asked to see some work using energy. And here's one such demonstration by Vladimir Vasilyev, Mikhail's student, colleague, and friend. The physical contact here is minimal, and work takes place at the psychological, mental, and psychic levels of the partner. The same key principles of the system are used by all the practitioners: natural, free movements, smooth, solid, and continuous. But everyone adds his own interpretation, personality, and talent to the system. In this case, you see the power of light, effortless moves and the incredible diversity of work.
Okay, so relax kind of. I guess the basic movement is like that. You push him a little bit, push him, resist a little bit, yes, a little bit, resist. Resist, but honestly resist. Resist here, resist. And then you... Because the density comes here. When you take away the density, resist again, and then density. Look, and two guys, it's quite easy, you know. Because when you move, you hit, you work. What? When you're afraid, sometimes it's work easier. When you're tense, that's hard. Okay, so you understand? No? Press forward. No questions. It's quite like a brutal word, but brutal means like that. You can escape. You like it? Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
More like that.
We are now in Germany. Mikhail was called here to teach a seminar for a German Special Operations Unit. He then came to this Russian martial arts school in Augsburg, where he and Vladimir taught an intense 2-day seminar for the civilians. You see a few moments from that seminar. Some of Mikhail's work with the German students was different, but the people were just as amazed and excited. Upon Mikhail's request, we're inviting anyone who wishes to train with him to join us for our annual summer trip to Moscow.